Good evening. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. The Western Washington Amateur Television Society is a group of amateur radio enthusiasts that take to the airways with fast scan television. We have a repeater located up on Cougar Mountain. We transmit on 70 centimeters. It's a crossband repeater and spits out images at 1.2 gigahertz. To find out more about the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, please Google WW7ATS. That's Google WW7ATS. That will take you to our homepage where you'll find some more information about our group. And also, there's a link there that will take you to YouTube where we stream our nets that are held on Wednesdays and Saturdays between 8 and 9 o'clock. Also, we'd like to thank the SeaTac Repeater Association for allowing us use WW7STR's repeater 147.08 with a tone of 103.5 for our voice transmissions for our nets held Saturdays and Wednesdays. With that, I'm going to pause in case anybody has emergency traffic or needs to make a contact before our net gets fully underway. This is Dave, KD7ZYM, and this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net. Not hearing any. So far checked in via video link is Ron, KD7QKU, Bob, K9PQ, N7QO, Jim, James, WU7N, and myself, Dave, KD7ZYM, and I see Jessica has just joined us, KF7UHK. Is there anybody else that would like to join in? None. Let's see if we can get the net going. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. So let's go to Tacoma to Ron, KD7QKU.
Well, thank you very much, Dave. Seems like every time you get covered up with the repeater ID, and I'm not sure what you're saying, but I assume you called me. This is KD7QKU. I'm over in Kennewick. Hello, Kennewick, for Pete's sakes. I haven't lived there for 50 years. Tacoma. So anyway, I have 36 degrees here, and there's rain on my window. It's a cold, rainy evening here in Tacoma. Before we kind of got started, we were on Zoom, and I was telling everybody, my friend Randy, he's a ham. He lives in Boise, and he has a lot of radios. He has an Elecraft, I think it is, and he likes to do QRP. Lots of times he does, Morse code, CW. Anyway, he was doing voice today, and he talked on 5 watts to some guy in France. Just a little wire. They live in a beautiful home. It's probably $1 million house. He married a lady that her family's really well-to-do. They dug these canals down there in Boise and put in, so there's water in everybody's backyard. Anyway, they have an HOA, and he's not supposed to have any antennas up, but after he'd been hearing me talk about all the contacts I'd made, he finally punched a hole in the screen and pulled a wire out and tied it to a tree. A little itty-bitty wire. And hooked up his radio. He usually goes to the park, but it's snow on the ground and it's cold. So he likes to go to the park and do QRP in the park. Now, it's not really a POTA station. He goes over this park. But anyway, he was all excited. He had talked to Japan, he had talked to Alaska, and he had talked to France. And he wanted me to see if I could hear the guy in France. Of course, my radio's down because my power cable's defunct. I got a new one coming. I might be here on Monday. Well, that reminds me, I have some, what's it called? Dielectric, I guess. Dielectric, is that what it's called? Grease, and I'm wondering about putting that in my holes in my power cable when I push it together. Do you think that's a good idea? Jim's saying no, Dave's saying no, James is saying no. I guess it's not a good idea. Well, I have so much corrosion or whatever taking place in my holes cable in the two little terminals that stick out. There's 4 terminals, and they were the ones on the power side. They're pretty corroded. I tried to clean them up best I could. But you don't think some of that dielectric grease would be a good idea? It's a silicone grease. Okay, all right. Back to net, KD7QKU.
7QKU, thanks for that, Ron. Let's go on to Jessica, KF7UHK. She's out of this world.
It reminds me of that $1 million house that Ron was talking about in our taxes. we just got done with our taxes. We're done with that now, and I think we actually paid them with a credit card. So we're good for a little while until next year. Yeah, this and of course this thing in the background. This is Celestia, CELESTIA, I think is how you spell it. And I had to remember how to make it work and how to make these little videos. And I think, Ron, something might be better, something like Vaseline that's not dielectric, because I think that might be a conductive grease of some sort. And I don't really know. So there's my 2 cents on not knowing anything. We went to breakfast this morning to a place called Madison. It's like Madison Bar and Grill or something, and they make some pretty good breakfast, but I think I ate too much. I had like 3 eggs and, 6 half pieces of French toast, and they give you about 6 pieces of bacon, and then I had some hot chocolate drink that had 3 different kind of alcohols in it, and now I'm ready for bed. And I just took one of those little purple pills to keep everything nice and secure in my body. So that's what's happening here in Everett, KF7UHK.
UHK, thanks for that. Let's go on to Bob, K9PQ.
Okay, well, good evening to everybody, and I'm sort of at a loss of what to report today. Just kind of a slow day today, I guess. We had our meeting, of course. That was good. Got that taken care of this morning, and last night we had a big battle on my Friday night RPG group, and came out unscathed. Well, a little scathed, I guess, but we survived, and I just enjoy it. It's a nice get together with friends. We used to in person, but even before COVID. Well, before COVID, those that were still here did in person, but now 3 of our group are not local. 2, a father and son, are in Texas, and one's in Baltimore. So we've been playing online for quite a while, and it works well. It works well, and it's just a fun thing to get together with friends and do on a weekly basis. So I guess that's what's been going on with me. I'll send it back. K9PQ.
PQ, let's go to Jim, N7QO in Covington.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Good evening, everyone. Well, yeah, that dielectric grease, that's actually like if you're assembling, if you have a transistor. I don't have any TO3 case handy right now, but if you have a transistor and a TO3 type case, you'd want to put the grease on the bottom of it, probably a mica insulator, and then some grease below that. You don't want to mess up anything with a bunch of grease of any sort. The thing you need, and I was going to grab it here, but I remember I took it to the house because I've got some problems at the house otherwise. Some contact cleaner, or they used to call it tuner cleaner. Usually it's in like a little aerosol can, but sometimes it's also available as a liquid, and that would be the thing to use to clean that up. Don't use that grease for that. And let's see, QRP to France. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Let's see. Jessica, thanks for the reminder about taxes. I've had a busy couple of weeks here. It's like everything I own is broke. One day I got up, go into the bathroom, flip the light switch, the light doesn't come on, and then later the dishwasher wasn't working, and what else broke? I don't know, I need some parts for something else too. But one day, 3 things just magically broke at the same time, and I'm going, what? Oh well. So thanks for the reminder about the taxes. I can't defer it much longer here. Well, I guess I could. We got another month without any trouble. Let's see. Antenna. Yeah, throwing up a antenna probably be pretty effective with a long wire antenna, but there are others. Matter of fact, I think Bob has some sort of antenna that he bought. Was it an isotron or something? I'm not sure how well it worked. But there are antennas specially made for areas with deed restrictions. Sometimes it's hard to beat a long wire, especially if you can get it up higher. Sometimes it's hard for people to see it, so you might luck out. You just have to use a wire that's insulated with the appropriate color of insulation that blends into the background. Back to you, Dave, N7QO.
N7QO, and for an ID here again, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. Let's go on down to James, WW7N.
Well, thank you, Dave. I put on my hat here at the last minute for the cold and wet theme tonight, since I saw Jim and David wearing one. It's about, well, I don't know. I mean, I'm guessing below 40 degrees Fahrenheit outside my window right now. It was pretty chilly when I cracked my window to run a coax cable out. The question I had for Ron is, what band was the guy going to France with 5 watts? Was it 10 meters? So that was 10 meters. Dielectric grease. I agree with Jim. I've always seen that used, but there's heat sink compound, and then there's dielectric grease I've seen used on various kinds of things where you're trying to insulate arcing or something like that. You're trying to prevent arcing. But it is a grease. It flows. So over a period of time, it's, I guess glass is a liquid too, technically. It flows too. Richard, wish he was here to comment on that one. So it will eventually flow. It doesn't necessarily stay put. Where you put it, it's not really designed to do that. It's not a glue or a sealant. So you held the thing up to the tube. I would get the instructions for that tube and ask, or read up on what did they intend that to be used for. Because if it's going to stay in a gooey state, it doesn't sound like a good idea. I'm always thinking about the day when I'm going to have to take something apart again and fix it the second time. I think I told you last time I got a brand new microwave. Good news, Target delivered it within 2 days. I turned it on in less than 10 minutes. See, it took about 5 minutes to heat up a mug of water. That wasn't a good sign. allegedly 900 watts. I think the marketing department was in on that, and there may have been, I think it's closer to about 300 watts active in there, if it takes that long to heat up 16 ounces of water in a mug. And it was kind of funny. I got online and I printed a return label, but then it said it was non-returnable, and I think it was a bug in their website. A nice lady somewhere on the other side of the planet to say, no, I can help you here right now, and she credited my credit card and then said, wait, we consider this damaged on arrival, so you can just dispose of it or send it to Goodwill or do whatever you want with it. But since in addition to taking 5 minutes to heat up a mug of water, after less than 10 minutes of testing, it filled my kitchen with an obnoxious fumes. So I said, okay, let's hope I don't get cancer and let them deal with toxic waste removal. So I stuck the FedEx sticker on it and sent it on its merry way. Guys at the FedEx place that I was shipping a dead body across the country. I guess it wasn't good to joke. They laughed, but I said, no, it's electronics. And I wrapped it in a bag to try and cut down on the smell. But I wonder if they opened it and checked to look after I said that. Anyway, what was that, Jessica? I didn't see what you said. Picture and send it to the police afterwards. Yeah, no doubt. Well, it sounds like you had a nice little low-calorie treat there for breakfast. 6 pieces of French toast, 3 eggs, and I'm sure there must have been some bacon involved in that. When I eat like that, I listen carefully for my smaller arteries to snap shut. That's a little defensive method I have. But it sounded good. I'm hungry now that you said that. I've been pretty good today. But I experimented with buying cream cheese Danishes from Costco, way too many for one human being to have in the house. So I wrapped them in saran wrap and threw them in the freezer, and I tried thawing and warming up the first one today, and it actually survives quite well. It's so gooey and yummy and delicious, it doesn't seem to matter if it was frozen or not frozen. I talked to the nice Costco lady, and she gave me that tip. And Bob, I'm glad you explained further RPG role-playing group. I thought you meant rocket-propelled grenade. I thought, wow, that's rocketry to the max. That sounds really rough. But then you clarified that, so I'm glad you did. Anyway, I found a news bite I'll tell you about next time around that I think everybody in the group will get a chuckle out of. This is James WW7ATS. Back to you, Dave. Take it away.
7N, thanks for that. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. Well, talking about taxes, I got a call from my tax man yesterday, and I found out that the furnace I put in last year did get a $600 tax credit, so I'm getting a little refund based on the furnace that I got last year. I was surprised. But I guess, who would think that there'd be a tax credit because of the efficiency rating? But the paperwork had the efficiency rating on it, and the tax man said that's all I needed to go by. So anyway, that's going to work out. But if anybody else bought some appliances that were deductible, to declare them. I don't know if you. I declare the whole. I declare everything, including the kitchen sink, on my taxes. But that I don't do the short form. I do the long form. I'm helping my accountant buy a boat. I think maybe it's a yacht. After all of these years. But anyway, he generally comes up with something every year that is a saver, so I like that. And let's see, for Ron, yes, use contact cleaner on those contacts on your new power supply plug that you're plugging into the back of the radio. Clean that up. I think you'll be very happy with that. And QRP, boy, just think, 5 watts all the way to France. Now you can see how the underground worked during the Second World War, getting information around Europe and America back and forth. So that's pretty impressive. So that's about it. This is Dave, KD7ZYM. 40 degrees here in Lake City, raining. You don't have to shovel it, so I'll take the rain any day. So anyway, that's what's happening here. Well, with that, let's take the trip back up to Ron, KD7QKU in Tacoma.
Okay, thank you again, Dave. KD7QKU here in Tacoma. Well, thanks everybody for your opinion on the dielectric grease. I appreciate that. I did have some tuner cleaner. Of course, you know, when we moved, stuff got misplaced. I don't know. I haven't seen it recently. Could be out in the shed in a box. It seems like Wade might have asked me once if I had tuner cleaner. I don't know. Somebody, it seems like, did. Maybe I loaned it to him. I don't know. But one cabinet, I have to take a car out of the garage in order to get to it to see what's in it, because I have the car, the Jeep Liberty that we towed behind the motorhome, have it parked really close to that side of the garage, and I can't walk in there to get into anything. So it could be over there. I'll have to get a light or something, look through the windows. The windows are tinted in the car too, so it makes it hard to see. So I don't know, maybe I'll have to climb inside it and roll a window down and look, see if I can see the tuner cleaner over there someplace. But yeah, it's probably a good idea. I just wanted to make sure it made good contact. I was afraid they little prongs that stick out inside the little receptacle kind of got, you know, maybe eaten up a little bit. I just thought maybe that grease would do it. I know I have anti-seizing compound to put on spark plugs when you put them in aluminum motors, like boat motors and stuff. If you put that on, you have a chance of getting them out. If not, you're probably shopping for helic oil, or whatever they call it. So anyway, I've had some bad luck on that. But the anti-seizing compound works great. That, and like Lee, he uses JB Weld. I have some JB Weld too someplace. I used to use a lot of it. It actually is good enough you could almost put threads in it, and you could tighten something up, but you know, you can't over tighten it. So what else is going on? Not too much. I guess I'm going to turn it back. I'm anxious to hear James' story. And, so I guess I'll just turn it back to that. Jessica, I just ate, but she also made me hungry too. I like French toast and eggs and bacon and all that stuff. Saturday we usually have waffles or hot cakes. Today we had hot cakes. So maybe French toast is in my future. All right, back to Nat, KD7QKU.
7QKU, thanks with that. And get an ID in here again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. Is anybody else wishing to join the net at this point? Hearing none, so let's go to Jessica, KF7UHK.
You know, I kind of like to use a thicker bread, sometimes the kind you have to slice off with a knife, and then I really soak that bread in the egg, and then you got to have not only cinnamon, but you have to have nutmeg to really set it off, and then a lot of butter, and that's the way I like it. And then I usually use Mrs. Butterworth's syrup just because I just like the sweetness of it. So there you go. There's something to think about Sunday morning. I think it's a really good idea. Let's see. Today I spent a couple hours and watched an old movie. It came out in 1999. It was from a Tom Clancy novel, Hunt for Red October. What a great movie. It's Sean Connery and a young Alec Baldwin. And there's a really great scene where the first officer of the Red October is kind of talking about how he wouldn't mind going to America and defecting to America, and he'd kind of like to go to Montana and get himself a truck, and then in the wintertime he thought it'd be nice to go down to Arizona, and he was asking the captain, do you need papers to cross from state to state? He said, no, you don't need papers. And it was kind of a really cute scene that it kind of broke up the tension in the movie. let's see. Other than that, the cats are running around here. I was messing with Big Chloe, who I just showed you. Big Chloe, she's one of these Maine Coon cats, along with Hemingway, and I like to roll her on her back and then kind of tickle her stomach a whole lot. But the problem is she has big claws, and she doesn't know when to stop playing with her teeth. So she comes after you, and when she bites, she doesn't really let up like some cats will just kind of give you love bites. No, she goes in for the kill. So I got a couple of scars on my back of my hand here that she drew some blood today. I was playing a little too hard, but it was fun while it lasted. So that's what I did today. KF7UHK.
KF7UHK. Let's go to Bob, K9PQ.
Okay, well, hello again. So I made some notes. First of all, glass. I didn't get a chance to properly look it up. I seem to recall learning that glass was a fluid but not a liquid, and I'm in the middle of a Scientific American article right now, and it's sort of agreeing with me on some points at least. It says glass is a solid, but it's sorry, I just lost my train of thought. The glass is a solid, but it's basically due to extremely high viscosity. Imagine an oil that becomes more and more viscous till it just doesn't flow, or at least, it takes years to see any flow. That's what glass is. Yeah, that's really cool on the QRP, and the antenna makes all the difference. I never did try those isotrons, Ron. Sorry, Jim. Good memory there on that. They're still sitting in a box, I'm sorry to say, but they would not be any good for QRP. Basically, what they're good for is, it will allow you to transmit with a very small antenna, so you're not going to be unbalanced or anything. But I don't think it's not going to be a great antenna. What else do I have here? Oh yeah, a broken microwave. Be careful telling a ham to do whatever they want with a broken microwave. You never know what's going to happen. So I just thought maybe they should have rethought that. Yeah, as for the RPG, there are RPGs that use RPGs. Not mine though. Mine, the technology has not advanced that far. And I never have tried JB Weld. I know Lee is really big on it, and yeah, it's just one of those things that I guess a lot of the stuff around the house that I learned, I picked up from my dad, and my dad never used it to my knowledge, so I never did as well. And now I'm not sure I'm going to be wanting to do any projects where JB Weld is necessary. Who knows, maybe on the trailer. Maybe that's a place I will use it. Okay, that's good for now. Back to net, K9PQ.
PQ, let's go to Covington Jim, N7QO.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Well, let's see. Okay, I've got 41 degrees here, just south of Covington. It is not raining now. It is mostly clear out there. I see a few clouds up, kind of higher clouds, but not cirrus. I did have a fair amount of rain move through the area today in a couple of different bursts, but nothing overwhelming. Jim, microwave, 5 minutes. Until you said it smelled like something died, I was going to say check the power level. I've got one microwave where you can adjust the power level, but once you adjust it, it does not enunciate what the power level is set at. And I'm scratching my head going, why doesn't it do that? So I don't know. Anyway, problem solved. You got another one coming. That's good. Jessica. Boy, I love bacon, and I can't help but wonder, maybe that's why my wife calls me a dog. And let's see, Sunday breakfast. I don't know, for me it's going to be pizza and beer, but you know what? We've got some bacon. Maybe I'll just cook up some bacon and throw that on the pizza. That sounds like a worthwhile idea. Uh-oh, Dave looks like it's appealing to him as well. Good deal. And also, I don't know, Jessica, it's fun while it lasted. Well, I don't know, maybe it was fun for your cat, but I don't know. If something got blood off of me, I don't know. So, bye-bye cat. I'll buy a big dog or something. I don't know. I'll find a way to get back at the cat anyway. That's just my 2 cents. Back to you, Dave, on 7QO.
7QO, let's go to James, WW7N in Bellevue.
Trying to share an image here. I don't know how much this is coming through, but the title of this article, credit to Popular Mechanics, the weird trick that lets amateurs detect warships at sea. This was kind of funny because this is something where there's a couple of satellites up there, ESA Sentinel-1 satellite system, and it's Earth Sciences, Earth monitoring satellite, and it uses C-band radar. And I'll go ahead and cut and paste the title of this article in the comments on the digital channel if you want to read more about this. But what it basically is, I mean, it's up there over 400 miles away, so it's using little teeny tiny signals on the C-band to do a synthetic aperture radar image mapping. But the problem is there's a lot of military radars that also use C-band, and those are not kind and gentle radars. They all are, of course, military, so they're very powerful to work, even when someone's trying to make them not work. So this is almost like a sight gag, because you end up, when this imagery gets processed, you end up sometimes with mysterious little holes, and it can be surface-to-air missile systems, it can be warships at sea. But then you can figure out, looking at other data, well, what warship is that? And then figure it out. It was kind of humorous there, and here's a little picture, kind of shows you how they did it, and they found some vessels there. But anyway, I thought that was sort of funny. The unintended consequences sometimes. There's only one spectrum, we all have to use it. Your suggestion on power level, I got that suggestion from someone else, and that's the first thing I thought. I said, okay, somehow this thing is stuck on some sort of duty cycle. The way I would know that is the wiring in the particular place I was using it. When my other microwave, when I'd have it set on a, like a thaw cycle, I'm thawing something, so the magnetrons I use are not nearly as sophisticated as the ones Lee was talking about. They're either all on or all off, so you can hear it when the microwave turns on and turns off. And you can also detect a little dimming of the lights on that circuit, and little things like that. But I still thought, okay, well, maybe this is just more clever, has a bigger capacitor in it, or they're doing something like that. So I tried to reset it. I actually got out and read the manual and said, okay, let's try and set this. And I managed to get it to 10%. I don't know how long that would have taken to heat anything up, but all the way up to 100%. But no, that wasn't it. And I don't know what the problem is. I'll let them figure it out if they want to. But the weird smell, no, I can't live with that. The very strange smell, almost like one of those old selenium rectifiers burning out, that kind of a smell. That knows what I'm talking about there. Yeah, that was powerful. JV Weld, I'm a big fan of that product. I've got a collection of photos on the wrong computer. I'd show them. I call it Walmart gunsmithing. The things I saw when I was a range safety officer of people, some safe, some not so safe, trying to do gunsmithing at home. And some of it was scary, some of it was funny. but JB Weld factored into a lot of that. It is a truly amazing epoxy product, and I've used it several times, different places, and it always amazes me. You're right. It's not a liquid, it's a fluid, or it's not a fluid. It's a polymorphous mass or something. I forget now. I'd have to go read up on it myself. But, of course, nothing beats the Star Trek invention of transparent aluminum, which, if you remember the movie where Scotty rediscovered that, that's tonight's trivia question. Whale of a question it is. So anyway, with that, I'm going to turn it back to Dave, KD7ZYM. This is James, WU7N in Northeast Bellevue.
WU7N, thanks. This is Dave, KD7ZYM in Lake City. Well, we were talking about glass being a liquid, and yes, it does flow. If you look at some old buildings with glass, you'll find out that the glass has ripples in the bottom part of the panes, and that's because over the years the glass has a tendency to flow and ripple. Not a lot, but it's not clear why it does that. But anyway, it does get a little bit on the liquid side and becomes bendable, so that's pretty good. And we were talking about QRP to France, so I don't know if you had QRP French toast. Does that mean only a half a piece of toast and no syrup? I don't know. But anyway, I was thinking there's got to be some way you can tie in QRP and French toast together. But this is Dave, KD7ZYM, and so much for the nonsense. We'll go back up to Ron, KD7QKU.
This is KD7QKU again. Well, I don't know how I got started on thinking about JB Weld, but when I first learned about JB Weld, I was a young man, and I kind of got started, I suppose when I was in high school, really, kind of hanging out at car lots and helping work on cars. I rubbed out a lot of cars with rubbing compound, and then we would dye upholstery and, spray all the holes in the floor mats with black paint so the people couldn't see them, and stuff like that, make them look good. So, and spray undercoat, over, or put it on over rust and stuff. But anyway, exhaust manifolds, the engines, the block gets warped, or the head where the exhaust manifold would attach, and so this one guy showed me you take JB Weld and you put it on the block, and then you put the gasket on it, and you put JB Weld on the exhaust manifold, and then you bolt it together, and you're guaranteed to have no leak. So over there, and where I grew up, there was quite a few old used cars running around with the exhaust manifold gaskets JB welded. I pity the poor person if they ever had to take it off. I didn't think much about it then, but later on I realized what they were doing. But it was, you mix it up and it goes right on, just like any other glue or gasket sealer or something. I thought about it as gasket sealer at the time, but it's more than gasket sealer. Well, let's see. We went to the grocery store today. We been going to Winco. They opened a new Winco store here, but today we went to Fred Meyer's. I wanted to get some wine. They have cheap wine. Well, darn if they didn't increase the price $1 a bottle. That irked me. It started out almost less than $2 a bottle, and now it's up to $3.99. I'm telling you, it's getting to be expensive. I can't afford to drink it here pretty soon. So anyway, and I got some. They have hot cucumber chip pickles. They're sweet and they're hot. They're pretty darn good. So I had to always get another big jar of them. So we needed to make a run to Fred Meyer's. So that was my exciting afternoon, going to Fred Meyer's. And we bought more groceries than we probably should have. So back to Nat, KD7QKU.
QKU, thanks for that. Let's go on to Jessica, KF7UHK.
Buying too much stuff. Usually I have my freezer is usually packed, and then I'll bring something home and it's like, oh no, we need to cook something because otherwise there's no place to put this. So that's one of my problems. I think it's part of the depression days, making sure you have enough stuff just in case things go horribly wrong, right? And when I buy toilet paper, I always buy the big giant packs, and sometimes I'll buy 2 at a time, so I'll always have a lot. So if you were wondering where the toilet paper went, I've usually have my small supply somewhere in closets. Let's see, Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home. Your reference there, James. That was my very favorite. I had to go look it up. That was directed by Leonard Nimoy, and it's like he just brings out all the funny stuff. You wouldn't think so for his normal demeanor in the show, but I just thought that was just full of little pokes and jabs at each other. It was just really fantastic, and just a great story. Some of the rest of them, not so much, but that one I really, really liked. Other than that, I don't have anything else. KS7 USK.
UHK, let's go to Bob, K9PQ in Bothell.
Yeah, I have a few notes, but before I do anything else, let me break. You might have seen me display this picture a couple of times already. This is my own little quiz for everybody. This falls into where was Bob? I took this picture, so if you could tell me where I was when I took this picture, you win the prize of being the one who got it. And okay, back to me. So let's see, what other notes do I have here? Oh, for Leonard Nimoy, there's actually a pretty good documentary on Leonard Nimoy. His son was involved with making it, and it's not like a hard-hitting thing. But they cover the good and the bad a little bit. But it was interesting just to get to know, something about that actor, and it's called For Love of Spock, or For the Love of Spock. I don't remember exactly, something like that. That radar thing sounds really interesting to me, James. I never realized that it would pick that up. It sounds like, if I understand you right, it sounds like it's actually picking up the other radar, or the other radar's jamming somehow. I didn't quite understand exactly what you're talking about, where you'd get a hole, but I thought it was really interesting anyway, and I'd like to look into that some more. And then one other thing I had, duty cycles, yeah. Every microwave oven I've had, I always knew when it wasn't at full power, because even if it didn't dim the lights, even if the electrical system was fine, within the microwave itself, I think you mentioned the fan speed would change. And I think the internal light in the microwave would change, but it was very noticeable when it was on some duty cycle like that. But 5 minutes for a cup of water. Yeah, something was definitely wrong there. And probably a good thing you just got rid of that for sure. I didn't understand exactly. Maybe you could say again about. Did you mail it somewhere? Was it in a package? I didn't quite follow that whole bit of it, so maybe you could talk about that. Okay, I'll send it back to K9PQ.
Thanks for that, Bob. And get a quick ID here again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. So let's go on down to Jim, N7QO in Covington.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Well, let's see. Jim, yeah. I couldn't remember the title. Thank you, Jessica, The Voyage Home. But I remember the whale, and I remember the transparent aluminum. So that's kind of cool. Let's see, Ron, $3 wine? Man, I thought I was cheap when I bought $6 wine. But having said that, it's pretty darn good for $6. I should go and check and see if they raised the price on me any. Well, I guess it's all what you're used to. Jessica, large quantities of stuff. Yeah, you know, since I went to Costco, I definitely wind up buying more stuff than I want. And having said that, stuff which I get from some of the local places, I tend to buy things in larger quantities when they're on sale, and I just kind of store them at the house. Not sure if that's a real good idea, but that's what I do. Bob, yeah, that picture, man, I'm really not sure what that is, but from the way my brain is going right now, and from our previous conversation here, what's on my mind, I'm guessing that in part because it looks similar to a building that I know in Amsterdam. I'm guessing that picture is from Dublin. I'm guessing that is the Guinness factory. That's my best guess. Back to you, Dave, N7QO.
NQO, thanks with that. Let's go on down to James, WU7N.
Bob's picture, I'm going to make a guess because it looked like on the left-hand side as I view the picture, it looks like there's a big tall tower there. So maybe it's a mill or some other reason you would have a tall tower, but I'm not sure. It does definitely look like old world stone, but that could still be the east coast of the United States or Ireland, I suppose. Let's see, the package, explaining Bob. Okay, so I ordered it from Target, and it was going to be a 10-mile drive if I went and picked it up, but they would ship it and have it delivered within 2 days. So I said, well, gee, I'll take shipping, and they actually got it here a day early, so it was amazing how fast they delivered it. That part was good. I just wish it had worked and not smelled like, you know, elephants had done their business in my kitchen. So there was that negative side of it, too. Over. So anyway, what I got on the website is I printed off a FedEx return label, which you can do when you buy stuff from Target. But then when I got on the phone, she said I didn't have to return it. Well, too late. You already gave me a label. So I just stuck it on there and took it down to the FedEx office and said, here, you take it. Yes, I know. I, too, was trying to figure out how to modulate a magnetron, and I did some research on that, found there were ways you could do it. But there's just so much experimenting I can do with 12 volts, and if I make a mistake, I will live to see another day, whereas, you know, there's 20, 40,000 volts kicking around in some of those microwaves. So I decided maybe I should save that for another day. Or, Bob, invite you on over, and maybe you could touch that wire and see if it's hot or not. Don't know. So anyway, I've got 2 broken microwaves. One, I salvaged a transformer out of one. That I think went to Goodwill, and so I was going to take one of the broken ones because I know that the transformer would fix it. The most recent casualty, it's the control board, and I said, well, that's too much work, and I can't find a whole entire replacement control board. But now I'm looking at it again, going, it's probably a transistor, an SCR, or something on the control board. So maybe I'll take another pass tomorrow at looking at that control board to see if I can figure out what's wrong. Because it down counts just fine. I mean, it still works as a clock. It'll still do everything. It just never turns. It never gives the electricity to the deadly part of the microwave circuit. So maybe I'll give that another shot. What the deal is with the satellites, they're using, instead of using optical frequencies to take imagery, to take pictures like we're doing right now, they use C-band radar for something called synthetic aperture radar, where they're, in very simple terms, I suppose you could think of it, is using the radar to kind of, and then digitally process it, and you get something that kind of looks like an image out of it. I mean, it's just a way for, to take the radar information and represent it in a way we're all familiar with. But if you, because they're sending out a pulse out of the satellite and then waiting for something, well, I wouldn't say a pulse, they're sending a frequency out of the satellite and then using Doppler shift, I think, mostly, to get something back. But if there's some big radar down there just burning a hole in the sky, since it's line of sight, that messes up what they're trying to do. It's like you're trying to take a picture and somebody shines a big bright spotlight in your camera. It's just not going to work. But because of the nature of SAR, as it goes overhead, that's very much a passing phenomenon. So you go, wait a minute, right there it was the big bright satellite, so there's obviously an emitter right there. So that's what they're doing. I went ahead and pasted the link there on the right. Anyway, that's it. I see we're 10 minutes to the top of the hour. This is James, WW7N in Northeast Bellevue. I'm going to turn it back to our net control for the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, Dave, KD7ZYM.
7N, thanks for that. And as far as microwaves go, I've always been under the impression when I've gone into Goodwill or something and wanted to check out a microwave for somebody, put a cup of water in it and set the timer for 1.5 minutes. And if the water doesn't boil in that 1.5 minutes, forget the microwave. And the timer would actually actuate everything for 1.5 minutes, so you know that the timer was okay. And if the water boiled, the microwave was usable, and you got a bargain. So anyway, that was it. And getting back to Bob, I think it's a Bothell in Amsterdam. I think that's what Bob has a picture of, a Bothell in Amsterdam. Anyway, that's my guess. And this is Dave, KD7ZYM, so we'll send it back to Ron, KD7QKU.
7QKU here. Well, it could be, Bob was over to, I guess it was Ireland a few years ago, so it's probably a building there. Kind of reminded me of a mental institution. That's the first thought that came to my mind. Maybe it's someplace where Putin puts his comrades. I don't know. I guess there's another one over there that's sick now with some kind of poison again. They either fall out of windows or it's amazing what happens to them, get run over by cars. But they all seem to disappear. Well, I don't have too much more. It was 36 degrees here when we started out. I did look, and there's some water on my window. This morning it was raining really, really hard, and it was about 35 degrees, and I saw a couple of snowflakes mixed in with the rain, but it never did turn to snow. It did warm up eventually, but it was a cool day, unfortunately. I'm ready for spring, you guys. I want spring to get here. I got a few things I want to do, and I need some warm weather to do it. So anyway, let's go back and see who's next. KD7QKU.
Well, let's go to Jessica, KF7UHK, with some great weather background.
Do with the camera if you just sit long enough and let it do its thing. Yeah, I'm waiting for spring too. I can't wait till spring comes out. We want to plant some more trees up at our house. Some little barrier type trees. I think they're called I don't know. We call them evergreens. But I know that's Aphrodite. It's not Aphrodite, but it sounds like Aphrodite. Let's see. I like the idea that it was a mental hospital, because I just went to my psychiatrist the other day, and I told him sometimes I feel like a dog. He says, "Why don't you jump up here on the couch and we'll talk about it?" And I said, "I'm not allowed on the couch." Other than that, I got nothing. KF7UHK.
Let's go to Bob, K9PQ.
Okay, well, I'm torn. I don't know. There's not a lot of time left. I don't know if I should just reveal it or everything is wrong so far. Some more hilariously wrong than others. And but the one thing I think I assumed, because people have recognized places around the Seattle area that I've had as backgrounds in the past, and this is also around the Seattle area. This is local. So that may be a hint. Hopefully that's a big hint for you guys. And the picture aperture is compressed. It's not as narrow and tall as it looks. It's more normal proportioned. So maybe that will help too. Maybe that's one reason it looked like a mental institution. It just had a creepy look about it. But I'm having fun with it, I'll tell you that. So I'm going to just leave it up here during my turn. Let's see, I had a couple of notes. Just about the guesses. Yeah, the brothel and the mental institution. I love it. I love it. It's not either one of those. Okay, back to that. K9PQ.
PQ, let's go to Jim, N7QO.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Okay, well, that gives me a different perspective. I have not seen the building of which I'm thinking from that angle, but with the tower, would that be the old Tully's building? Just a thought. I don't know. And let's see, Jessica, not allowed on the couch. Huh? No, that's not it, Bob. Oh well, thanks. Not allowed on the couch. Maybe that's why my wife calls me a dog. I don't know. And Jessica, good picture of Sylvia. Tell Sylvia I said hi. Tell her we're all thinking about her. And I don't know. Back to you, Dave, N7QO.
N7QO, thanks for that. Let's go to James, WW7N in Bellevue.
I found something that said something about the Starbucks Center in Seattle was once a Sears building, but that doesn't quite look right. But the proportions might have thrown me there. I don't know. So if it's in the Seattle area, I'm kind of stumped that that look, that angle, definitely looks like old. Now that you said it, I see the bricks there. So yeah, that still, though, specifically what building you'll have to tell us here in the last 4 minutes of the net, in case somebody else is listening too. They might want to know as well. Thank you, Dave, for the pointer to the Goodwill. I need to go there anyway to do my annual shopping for clothes, and so maybe I'll look and see if they have any microwaves. So with that, let's see. There's another very similar-ish kind of looking building called the Pioneer Building in downtown Seattle, and then there's none of them quite fit. None of them quite work. The angle and the fact that it's kind of squished and it's got that tall structure on the left. So you'll have to fill us in. This is James WW7N. Last few minutes of the net. Let's give it back to our net control. KD7ZYM.
7N, let's see. I guess I would have another guess. I think there's a monastery in a park in Kenwood. That might be that building. I don't know. It looks very similar to that. But this is Dave, KD7ZYM in Lake City. That was my 2 cents worth, but I guess it's only worth a tax token at this point. So let's go back up to Ron, KD7QKU.
I break in. Hey, yes, I checked the comments, which I normally am not doing the chat because I'm displaying you guys, so it's not so easy to look at the chat. But I did do that, and Jessica was right, and Dave, you're also right. It is the monastery at St. Edward's State Park I believe it's in the Juanita area. I don't know if it's Kirkland or Bothell or what, or Kenmore even, maybe. So, yep, you guys got it. Back to that K9PQ.
Okay, Bob, thanks for that. And let's see, we got a chance for one quick chat, and we can go to Ron, KD7QKU. Clear it out.
That's very many times, but anyway, well, that's good to know. I think we've actually even been over there, but I sure don't remember the building. So, that's it, I guess. We're out of time, so back to net. Good night, everybody.
7ZYM, thanks for all for joining the net this evening. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net. We'd like to thank the owners and operators of the SeaTac Repeater Association for allowing us to use WW7ATS repeater 147.08 for our voice transmissions. So on behalf of the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, this is Dave, KD7ZYM, terminating the net at 9 o'clock. Good evening all.